Hi friends, in this session we'll talk about the last 20 days preparation strategy for CFA Level 1 August 2025 students. Now this video is for the August 25 students, but the same strategy can be applied for maybe the November 25 or Feb 26 examinations also. Now here in this video, I'm not addressing any student who is a perfect student. So who are the perfect students? The students who are done with their 3 rounds of revision, 10, 15 mock tests, 2 rounds of preparation, maybe done with the memorizing all the formulas and everything is done. And they are just thinking like what we should do in the last 20 days. So I'm not addressing you. Whatever you are doing really amazing and just do that. So this video is not for you. Why? Because these type of students are only 0.5 to 1%. Most of the students are normal students. So what do I mean by the normal student? So normal student is a student who feels like if I had say 5-10 days more, I would have nailed this exam. So if you are in this category, maybe like your only one revision is done and you are maybe 1 or 2 round of revision, more revisions are still pending. You're done with only one mock test and few more mock tests are yet to be done. Okay, so if you are in this particular category, like in last 20 days you have something pending for the preparation or the revision or the mock test, then you fall in the normal students category, which is like approximately 90% students in the CFA level 1 category. Now here, why I'm addressing these type of students, and one more note, like how I'm going to address this particular situation. So first of all, if you are in this category, then I can give you two types of guidances. One can be very idealistic guidance where I will tell you like you should be doing this and that. You should do at least 5 mocks, at least 5 rounds of revision, at least 5,000 questions and so on like this. Okay. If I give you this type of strategy or be very idealistic person as a mentor, then it will create more panic for you. And you are already panicking, right? So there is no shortage of panic at this particular point. So my approach in this video will be, so whatever guidance I give you in this video is to make sure as to give you the guidance which will help you in calming and staying cool on the exam day and in these last 20 days. In this process, I'll be very honest. I'm not going to lie or just give you the false motivations. Okay, so make sure, like, remember this. Now here we will discuss everything point by point. We'll start with the mock test strategy, then the formula remembering strategy or memorization strategy and so on. So let's first start with the mock test strategy. So what should be your mock test strategy? In my opinion, minimum 2 mock tests, maximum 3 to 4 mock tests should do the job. Don't go for like 10 mock tests or 6 mock test plan. Remember, 1 to 2 mock tests will do the job, but just to improve your confidence, if you have time you can go for the third, and if you think like you have still time left, then you can go for the fourth mock test. If you are done with the 2 mock tests, if your performance is optimal, maybe 60-70% depending on the mock test you are appearing for. So on the LES there are mock tests. If you are scoring 60-65% in the LES mocks, trust me, like you are sorted for the exam. Okay, so you should do good in the examination based on my experience with my students. Now here you have to remember one particular thing. Your main mock should not be like 5-10 days before exam. Okay, make sure you appear for your strongest mock where you are optimally prepared is at least 20 days before exam, so that you have ample time to make all the corrections. Remember, we appear for mock for a purpose. This exam is not among those exams where you will face a lot of time management problems. So there are exams where you face a lot of time management problems, and for those type of exams you should appear for multiple mock tests so that you are able to optimize your time management strategy. But here, most of the, if you talk with the previous students, they will say like, okay, so exam was manageable from the time perspective, so time is not the problem here. So what is the purpose of appearing mock here? The purpose is to analyze your performance or analyze your preparation. Now, once you appear for mock 20 days before exam, analyze your problem areas. If you are my student, then share your performance score with me and then we will discuss what should be a strategy in the last 20 days. If you are not my student, then you should analyze by yourself, understand what are the problems and try to correct those problems in the last 20 days. This should be a strategy. One more thing, what happens when you appear for the mock in these last 20-30 days? Your brain automatically changes its thinking pattern. So now your brain, once you are done with the mock, the serious mock, I'm calling this as a main mock. Once you are done with this particular mock, then automatically you will prepare according to exam. You don't have to do anything extra. Just go with the flow and your preparation will change. Okay. So make sure you appear for your main mock 20 days before exam. There is no need to appear for mock 5 days before exam or like last 5 to 6 days. Okay, that's complete wastage of time in my opinion. Last mock should be just 10 days before exam, and don't take the score of that mock seriously. Why? Because let's assume you score low on that mock just by mistake or by luck. It will take your confidence down. Okay, so and that this should not happen in the last 10 days because you're already panicking. The fear is at its max. So avoid taking that score seriously. It should be just a regular, a non-serious type of mock 10 days before exam. But 20 days before exam, it should be a serious mock. Now, what if you are, let's say, 80% preparation done in this situation and you are not 100% done? I would recommend you to still go for mock 20 days before exam, because remember one thing, you don't need 100% preparation to pass in any exam. You have to make sure you are really good. That is 95% conceptual clarity and the understanding in 80% of the syllabus, and remaining 20% should be like the base knowledge. Okay, so you should know the concepts given in the 20%. If you are able to cover 100% with the 100% confidence, this is the best situation. As I said, I'm not going to give you any idealistic situations or the scenarios or the strategies. I'll be realistic here. So the real situation is like 80% syllabus can be done with the 95% confidence, and 20% syllabus maybe with 50-60% confidence. This is really good even if you want to score 90 percentile in the examination. First of all, like that particular 90 percentile thing is now obsolete based on the like new result pattern, but still if you want to be in that particular category, yeah, so this should be sufficient. Okay, so this is about the mock test strategy. Which mock test? First, prioritize the institute's LES mock test, okay, learning ecosystems mock test, 2 mock tests, and then you can go for the third party mock test. Based on my observation, uh, there are no mock test, third party mock test, which are really exam representative. Even the LES mock test, we can consider this as a based on the previous students' feedback, where they compare the mock test versus the actual exam's difficulty level. So the LES mock test is slightly difficult compared to the actual exam. Maybe because at the time you are appearing for the LES mock test, you are not fully prepared, and maybe the students are feeling the exam, the LES mock is difficult because of this reason, and then they prepare for last 10-15 days, and then they go for the actual exam, and at the time they are very well prepared, or we can say at their best preparation level, and that's why they are feeling the actual exam easier compared to the mock. This can be the reason, but again, as I said, based on the previous feedbacks, the LES mocks are slightly difficult compared to the actual exam. Again, based on the feedback, I don't know the reality. Disclaimers, right? Now, the formula strategy. Now, a lot of students face the problem in memorizing all the formulas. My recommendation is, first was the mock strategy, second is the formula strategy. Let's assume there are 100 formulas given in the examination, 100 formulas given in the curriculum, out of which 80 are easy to remember for everyone. Okay, so this is like the general observation. Students face problem in this like the 20% formulas. My recommendation is just note down those formulas where you are facing the problem, and one day before exam, or if your exam is in the afternoon session, on the same day in the morning, just read these 20 formulas and just go for the exam. Don't bother about the formulas as such, because first, if these formulas are difficult to remember, then these formulas are difficult to remember in all situations, right? So you can't do anything with this. If you spend a lot of time in memorizing these formulas, then you are compromising your preparation time, right? So in the last 20 days, you have to also focus on the rest of the material. But if you are not doing that and just focusing on these 20% formulas, then you are compromising your exam. So my recommendation is just revise these formulas, or try to remember these formulas one day before exam, maybe, and allocate time slot, just 2 hours or 3 hours max. Whatever happens, happens. I have never seen a student who is complaining after exiting the exam, complaining about not able to remember or recall the formulas in the examination. Okay, never happened. Maybe happened in one question or two questions, but it was not like, no one says like his exam was like his exam performance was really bad because the student was unable to remember the formula. Okay, this doesn't happen, so it's not going to happen with you also. So just focus on these 80% formulas where you are already like good, and the 20% formulas, try to remember it before the examination. Now, third, revision strategy. Now remember one thing, you appeared for mock 20 days before exam based on my recommendation. We are assuming this, right? Now, once you appear for this mock, make sure you allocate 10 days revision slot, revise for 10 days in order to correct your problem areas as well as the revision. Okay, so you have to do both the things. You have to revise, and at the same time you have to correct your problem areas. I'll give you the example. Maybe let's say you appeared for mock test and you realized, okay, so you are unable to remember uh, the left tail versus right tail hypothesis test. Then in this situation, when you are revising, you have to specifically focus on this left tail right tail problem. And if you see similar type of situations in rest of the curriculum, you have to also look for those, because those problems were not tested in the mock test, right? Those problems, like the only one problem got tested in the mock, you face problem there. Maybe you are going to face similar type of problem in the rest of the area where you have this duality problem. Okay, so where the right tail, left tail, yes, no situation. So make sure you work on that. I will give you one more example. Maybe let's say you are in mock, you were unable to recall the difference between the IFRS and the US GAAP treatments in the FS subject. Now you have to specifically focus on these points when you are revising the FS subject. This should be a strategy. Okay, so based on the mock. Once you are done with the last 10 days revision, then restart your revision. If you want to appear for one intermediate mock, go for it. And then you have to appear for 5-day revision and then again 5-day revision. In 5 days revision, your strategy should be focusing on the pure problem areas. Okay, don't worry about the whole preparation. Just focus. Again, the example, let's say there are 7 chapters in the quant subject and you face problem in, let's say, linear regression. So your main focus should be on the linear regression part and not on the every chapter. Go through every chapter, but major time should be spent on the linear regression, assuming you are facing problem there. Similarly, if in FSA, a lot of students face problem in the DTA, DTL subject topic, that is taxation part. Okay, so focus more on taxation in this revision. Once these 15 days are over, in the last 15 days, go for full revision. Okay, make sure you revise every chapter properly, but your speed of revision should be really good in this particular part, because here now you have to revise the full curriculum and you have to make sure you are able to finish your revision in proper manner, right? So this should be your strategy. Then next is the difficult subjects. These are the subjects which are perceived as difficult by the students based on the feedback of students. So first is the ethics. Then we have the fixed income. And then we have FSA. Maybe you have problem with some another type of subject. I don't know, like there are rest of the subjects are really easy only. But if you are facing problem in those subjects, then you can try to apply these strategies given here. Okay, so I will discuss mainly these 3 subjects. There is also one subject, the derivatives part, but specifically my students, I don't have more information about the derivative problem because my students never scored poor in this like a subject. Most of the students scored really amazing, so I never got this feedback from my student. Okay, so I got this feedback on the Reddit. I saw the students are complaining about the derivative. I don't know why. Derivative is relatively easy subject. Make sure you remember all the key points in the derivatives and have the broad understanding of all the terminologies given in the derivative subject. This should be sufficient. Okay, should be sufficient. Now let's talk about the ethics, fixed income and the FSA. Now first the ethics. If you are facing problem in the ethics, then the problem is related to the questions and not with the subject, because ethics is very small subject, easy to understand subject. Generally there are no concepts which are difficult to understand. Okay, so that's why the problem is in the question solving. Now if you are scoring say 50%, 60% in mock and you are not able to improve your performance, then my recommendation is don't waste your lot of time on the ethics. Allocate limited time for the ethics, and whatever happens in the exam happens. Why I'm saying this? Because if you focus too much on the ethics, you are compromising preparation time of other subjects, and this will create a new problem. Maybe you will be able to improve ethics score slightly. Okay, I'm saying slightly, and it is not going to improve your score substantially in ideal situation, because the problem is at the question level, and question level problems are not easy to address. You are facing problem in the question. It is highly likely that you will face the similar problem in the examination also. So you can't do much about it, right? So don't ignore it, revise it, see the questions, and whatever happens in the exam, what happens. Whatever loss you are going to make in the ethics part, you have to compensate it with the other subjects. This should be your strategy. Okay. This is my observation. One more thing. So in the same preparation level, some students will score extraordinarily high in the ethics, and some students will score really mediocre in the ethics. And this happens because of only one reason: the way students approach questions. That's it. Okay. So if you have that tendency, if you have that mindset, then automatically you will score really good. If you don't have those inherent skills, then it is very difficult for you to score high in the ethics. But remember, if you are scoring say 60%, and if you want to improve score to say 80%, and let's assume like you get 30 questions on ethics, then this 20% margin is maximum 6 questions. Okay. In order to improve your score from 60% to 80%, you have to spend a lot of time. Okay. And again, there is a probability involved. Like we don't know exactly you will be able to score 80% or not. Right. So in order to achieve 6 more questions correct, don't you think like it is better to focus on the other subject and make sure your performance is really good in those subjects? Because anyway, like the other subjects will give you more score, right? And this is again assuming like you have limited time for the preparation. Then we have the fixed income topic, where students face a lot of problem. Here, just do one thing or two things. Remember all the key points wherever there is a theoretical topic, and remember all the basic calculations wherever there is a calculation area. Am I saying like only these type of questions will show up in the exam? No. I'm saying if you find this particular topic difficult, then the complicated questions are already complicated for you in the exam also. Right now, if you are feeling, let's say, we have the concept of convexity and the duration. A lot of students face problem in those areas. So if you are facing problem or failing to understand duration and convexity in the preparation, what do you think what is going to happen in the actual exam? It is not going to yield properly for you in the exam, right? So for this reason, I am saying make sure your preparation is optimal. Optimal preparation is remembering the key points and knowing all the basic calculations. If you don't know how to deal with the advanced concepts, then try to understand it. If you are unable to understand it, let it be. My general strategy throughout is let it be. Why? Because if you are able to do proper let it be, then your confidence will be really good and you will be able to perform really good in the exam. I'm not saying with this strategy you will get 90% in the fixed income. Maybe you will score only 70% in the fixed income or 60% in the fixed income. But you are not compromising your whole preparation. You are not sacrificing remaining subjects or the actual exam. So for this reason, I'm giving you this strategy. Okay. So what do you have to do? Remember all the key points. Key points are for the theoretical topics, the terminologies, the concepts, and so on. And remember all the key calculations or the basic question calculations. Then FSA. Here in FSA, we have very typical situation where we have two types of students. Those who are really amazing with the accounting or those are masters of accounting. So if you come from the CPA, CCA, CA, these type of courses, then FSA is cakewalk for you. You don't even have to bother about it. If you are not coming from these courses, then FSA is really big challenge for you. So here, try to understand whatever you can. Try to remember whatever you can. Okay, I'm saying whatever you can intentionally, because your competition is directly the masters of accounting, right? So you can't really beat them in detailed understanding. What you can do is understand all these things on the basic level. Okay, so whatever is given, you have to understand it. Don't try to overthink it or overanalyze it and all. You will create more problem for you. Okay, so, and also know the basic calculations and the derivatives. As I said, like if you want, like just watch, I have few videos on the YouTube which are from the FRM's curriculum. Even if you watch those FRM curriculums videos for the derivative subject, you are at least like major portion will be sorted. Okay, because in FRM's curriculum we have detailed discussion on the derivatives. In here we have very surface level discussion. So if you prepare using the detailed videos, automatically this portion is going to be easy for you. Now what if you have problem in all three subjects? I'm ignoring this derivative part. What if you have problem in ethics, fixed income and FSA? Now remember, if you have problem, this doesn't mean you are going to score 0. The problem is maybe you will score 50%, 60% or 70%, and you can't confidently say you will score 90% in the exam, right? So this is the meaning of you are facing problem in these subjects, okay? Because remember, by default, you have probability, 1/3 probability with you. Even if you randomly take a question, 33% score is with you. Now from 33%, you have to just reach the 50%, which is easy. From 50 to 60 or 70, it depends on like how much knowledge you have, okay? And how much calm and cool you are in the exam. So you have to make sure you are calm and cool in the exam. Now to compensate for this particular problem, you are facing problem in multiple subjects, make sure you have 5 to 6 strong subjects. And your strategy should be in caching everything possible from these 5 to 6 subjects. You should make sure you are really confident, really well prepared in these 5 to 6 subjects. Ideal situation is like the best strategy is prepare or revise properly the content which you already understand and remember. Because remember, capturing the difficult area in last 20 days is difficult, but losing the well prepared area in last 20 days by focusing on the difficult area is very easy. Or this happens with a lot of students. So that's why I'm saying, if you think like, okay, you are well prepared, you understand the concepts, you have full grip on those areas, don't ignore those areas, focus more there. Okay, and with this you will be able to do really good in these 5 to 6 subjects, and maybe average 50 to 70% mark in the remaining subjects. They should do the job. Okay, now the 7th point is about, remember 1.5 minute rule. You will get approximately 1.5 minutes per question in the examination. And if you think there are calculations which requires time more than, like which requires say maybe 2 or 3 minutes to solve at home or in the examination, put less emphasis in the revision period on those concepts. Okay, again, the thing is very simple. If you are unable to solve those questions in 1.5 minutes at home, or if you think like you won't be able to solve those questions in 1.5 minutes in the examination, then there is no sense in solving those questions in the examination. If you see a particular question which requires say 3 minutes to solve, and this question shows up in the exam, straight away read it once, see if there is any catch and you can quickly solve that question. If you think no, full calculation is required, ignore that question, move on, because that question is there to kill your time. Okay, and remember, your whole exam is not going to be the exam where every question requires 3 minutes. Okay, if this happens, everyone will come out crying out of exam center, and we never saw this happening, right? So for this reason, I'm saying, like, remember this 1.5 minute rule, think about it. Is it possible to solve a particular concept in 1.5 minutes? If yes, then that concept is important and you must focus more on that concept. If you think like the concept takes more than 1.5 minutes, or more than 2.5 minutes, just being like the conservative. So if it takes like more than 2.5 minutes to solve, then the recommendation is to put less emphasis. I'm not saying don't ignore that concept, don't prepare it. Put less emphasis or time in the revision period because of these reasons. Because even if it shows in the exam, it is not ideal for you to solve that particular concept in the exam because it will kill the time of other questions. Then, 8 and most important point, keep yourself motivated. In this time, you will question your decision. If you are in the panic mode, you may question your decision of going for CFA level 1, you may question your decision of going for CFA level 1 in a specific attempt. There are a lot of possibilities, but remember one thing, whatever you did was really best choice at that particular time. Whatever wisdom you had that point, like when you decided to go for the CFA level 1 exam in the August, you made the right choice. Now don't question anything. Just make sure or just tell yourself whatever is possible for me, I will do it, and I will make sure I go to exam center with my full best possible preparation. I'm not saying the perfect preparation. I'm saying whatever is best possible for you, you have to go with that type of preparation in the examination. Okay, we all have problems, we all have life, and sometimes the reality is not very generous and is not in our favor. So the problems may happen. Maybe you had really tough job and you were unable to allocate enough time for the preparation, and all those problems happen. So even if those things happen, they happen, right? You can't do anything right now. Just keep yourself motivated and go for the exam. Then you have 2 sessions. Session 1, Session 2. In Session 1, you will get the subjects ethics, quants, FSA, economics, and corporate issuer. I'll just give you the brief about these subjects. So ethics, we already discussed. The quants is mostly the numerical subject. Make sure you remember all the formulas and you are good with the calculation part and also the concept part, because there are a lot of concepts. Then we have the FSA. We already discussed the FSA strategy. If you are good with the FSA, you're already good with the FSA. If you're not good with the FSA, it is not possible to achieve that perfection in last 20 days. Prepare on the basic level. Okay, here remember, the basic level doesn't mean like just remember the title of the that reading. On the basic level means understand all the basic concepts, basic calculations, and like this. Okay, then we have the economics, the fairly easy subject where you have to few chapters where you have to remember a lot of content, then you have to remember it. Corporate issuer, mostly the easy subject. Wherever you see the point is conflicting, where you have to separately remember that point, remember it. In Session 2, you have one more note about the Session 1. In Session 1, you will take a lot of time, or generally students say like they consume a lot of time in the ethics preparation, ethics questions area, and after that they had limited time for the remaining area. So make sure you limit the time for the ethics section so that you are able to allocate proper time for the rest of the topics also. Because remember, one question carries each question carries equal weight in the exam. Okay, based on the CFA Institute guidance. Then in Session 2, you have the portfolio management. In portfolio management, first 2 readings are complicated. The risk and return part 1, part 2. So make sure you understand all the basic concepts there. Rest of the portion is easy. There is the chapter where you have the behavioral biases and all. Remember all those behavioral biases, because those type of concepts can be very confusing in the examination. That's why I'm saying remember those. I'm not saying because these are important. I'm saying because these type of concepts can be confusing in the examination. That's why you have to remember those things. Okay, just based on like basic understanding, I'm saying. Then you have the equity analysis. In equity analysis, most of the portion is easy. We have the calculation, dividend discounting models, and also on. So remember all the calculations part. The fixed income, we already discussed the strategy. Remember the basic content. Then the derivatives, as I said, prepare, and if you want, watch my videos available on the YouTube. Then the alternate investment, mostly theory subject. It should be this easy for you. Then one more important point. If you have really good understanding, that understanding should help you in resolving problems in the examination. Resolving problems as in, there are a lot of memory problems you may encounter in the examination. Okay, like you are unable to recall some concept with precision. If you have good understanding of that topic, then you can deduce the problem then and there in the exam, and you can take the right answer. So go with this mindset. If you have really good conceptual clarity, you don't need to remember or mug up each and everything. Where you think you lack the conceptual clarity at that particular point, you should resort to mugging up, because ultimately you must pass this exam, and whatever the understanding or the knowledge part uh, left for you, you can do, or you can gain that knowledge even after exam, right? No one is stopping you. But in the exam, you have to focus on the exam only, right? So that's all from my side. If you have any queries, you can ping me those queries in the comment section. I will definitely help you out with those queries. Okay, thank you, and thank you for watching this video. See you in the next video. Bye bye, take care.